Section Section 10.2 deals with conserving and recycling the resources that we do have on our planet. Back in 1960s, or in the 60s, each person averaged about 2.7 pounds of trash a day. That's roughly about 3 pounds a day per person. Today that number has doubled, so we're almost 6 pounds per person. Now we can do some real quick math on that one and say 6 pounds per person. We have maybe 30 people, or I'll say 100 people in the 6th grade. That's 600 pounds of trash a day times a year. Let's just, we know a year is 365 days, but let's just change it to say 400. Nice easy math. So we got 400 times 600. Well, that's quite a bit. That's, I believe, 240,000 pounds of trash. Maybe I'm off on my math on that one. If anybody can figure that one out and come back to me tomorrow with that, let me know, and I'll either give you some bee stamps or a falcon feather. But back to the lesson. Conservation. What that means is we're trying to save the resources that we have, make them last as long as we possibly can. I know I would conserve my Halloween candy. When Halloween would come around, I would only have 1 or 2 pieces a day, and my Halloween candy would last me into January. Whereas my brother and sister, they wouldn't conserve. They would save their Halloween candy or eat their Halloween candy as fast as they could. So they were done by November 4th. Their candy was gone, and then I would have to hide mine. But conservation is trying to make things last longer. Now, we want to try to make our resources last longer. So one of the ways that we can do that is we can reduce the amount of waste that we put into the garbage by choosing materials that don't have as much packaging. I know it's easy and convenient for you to have those little pudding cups or those fruit cups, but if you just bought a can of that fruit from the store and were able to put that in a container that you could take to school and back, that would make less waste than if you were to have all those individual cups. Choosing a box of cereal, for example, that a bag of cereal versus a box of cereal, less packaging. Another way we can reduce stuff and conserve is by when we brush our teeth or when we take a shower. We can not let the water run while we're brushing our teeth. Wet the brush your teeth, have the water turned off while you're brushing your teeth. Then when it's time to rinse, you turn the water back on and you rinse. Taking a shower, don't let the shower run 10 minutes before you get in, and then don't take those 30-minute showers. I know I have a whole family that takes those long showers. It drives me crazy. At restaurants, when you go out to eat, only take the napkin that you need. Don't take 20 of them. I'm guilty of that. I take a lot of napkins. I take a lot of ketchup packets. It's wasteful. I know it, and something that we got to look at trying to use. When you're at home, use energy efficient bulbs. Use bulbs that use less power. Turn off the lights when you leave the room. Water is one of those things we can conserve too. Here's a video, and I'm going to have to move this a little bit so that I can get to it. This video right here shows the water on our planet, how it's distributed. 97% of the water on our planet is oceans. 3% is fresh water. Now, if we look at that fresh water, just this 3%, 68%, almost 69% of it is in the ice caps or the glaciers. 30% is underwater. 0.9% is others, and 0.3 is on the surface. That's the rivers and lakes and ponds and swamps. And so, I mean, you can see 87% of the surface water, that 0.3% is in the lakes. That's not a lot. Now, other than reducing, we can also try to recycle. A lot of things that we have today can be recycled. We can recycle glass, cans, certain plastics, papers, scrap irons, metals. These are all things that we can take once, use it. and then recycle it again, so we don't have to dig it out of the ground again. We don't have to use all of the metals and things that we have on our planet. Now, it sounds, well, we got lots of metal, we got lots, we can just make more stuff. We can, but it's actually, in the end, cheaper to reuse and recycle what we have versus make it again. A point I can make is, say, aluminum cans. To get the aluminum, we have to dig the ore out of the ground, and then we have to get the metal out of the rock. Once we get the metal out of the rock, then we can make it into aluminum cans, and then we can fill them up with our sodas or whatever we're going to put in there. Now, that's going to have a certain cost. Now, if we start to think about that, if we use the old cans, we wash them out, we shred them up, we melt them down, and we make more cans out of the aluminum that we already had, we've taken out a step. We haven't had to dig it out of the ground. And if we don't dig it out of the ground, we've saved money, because it costs money to dig everything out of the ground and to get that aluminum out of the rock. So it's actually saving time, and it's saving money, and it's saving resources. We can do a lot of help for our planet if we just learn to recycle. We recycle our clothes. We recycle a lot of the things that we aren't using anymore. We take a lot of our stuff to Goodwill, and we give them away, or and other people can use our things, so they don't have to go out and buy new things, so the new things don't have to be made. So we can protect some of our resources. It also can help our health and our environment by not having to make so many of these products. So hopefully in the end, you understand that recycling saves time, saves money, and it saves resources.